This is the Boeing 747 SP, one of only two of its kind still left flying today. And this one, operated by Pratt & Whitney, made a visit to the EAA Airshow this summer. And today, we'll have the privilege to tour the inside of this incredibly rare airplane, as it slowly makes its way up to Boeing Plaza here in Oshkosh. As seemingly massive as this airplane is, it's actually the smallest version of the iconic 747, better known as the Boeing 747 Special Performance variant, or simply SP. It's essentially a shortened version of the original 747. The SP was first flown in 1975, just 6 years after the very first 747 first took flight in 1969. This shortened 747 had a main purpose of operating long-range flights for airlines, particularly long-range flights that didn't have enough passenger demand to fill a standard-length 747, hence the shortening of the fuselage, which also made for improved fuel efficiency and a greater airspeed. The airframe right in front of us entered passenger service in early 1981 with Korean Airlines, and nearly 45 years later, under its current tail number, Charlie Golf Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot, the airplane has come a long way from its passenger days, now serving as an engine test bed for Pratt & Whitney Canada, based out of Montreal's Mirabel Airport. This 747 SP is, unsurprisingly, equipped with 4 Pratt & Whitney engines, the exact same engines that it entered service with in 1981. And boy, are they some of the shiniest engines I've ever seen. Now, you may be wondering what the purpose of an engine testbed aircraft actually is, and if you haven't already noticed this odd lump on the side of the airplane, it's actually an engine pylon where prototype engines are mounted and tested when in flight. For a new engine to be certified for production, it must be tested in an uncontrolled environment, and having a pylon on the side of the fuselage with the ability to mount a 5th engine serves Pratt & Whitney perfectly, as it allows for prototypes to be tested in real weather conditions without sacrificing the safety of the other 4 engines. To get a better understanding at how the engine testing actually works, we'll need to hop in line to go inside this historic airplane. After about a 15-minute wait, it's finally time to head on in, and for me personally, this was quite a special moment, as it was the very first time I'd ever stepped foot inside a 747 of any kind. Right upon entry here, you can really see how big this thing actually is, despite being the smallest 747 variant ever made. These seats up front here are actually the originals from this airplane's days as an airliner, a wonderful relic still utilized by the Pratt & Whitney crew. As we walk further back into the cabin, you can probably notice the sheer amount of equipment back here, particularly computer equipment. I mean, this has got to be the most monitors I've ever seen in an airplane. Each of these workstations are used for monitoring the mounted engine's performance, and these stations also have the ability to control the engine settings on demand to optimize its performance while in the air. Of course, there are many other different types of engine testbed aircraft out there, and you may be wondering why exactly Pratt & Whitney decided to utilize such an unusual airplane for their engine testing operations over other airplane types. And the reason lies behind the unique performance that this mini jumbo jet offers. The 747 SP has the ability to fly above 45,000 feet, well beyond standard cruising altitude, offering engine performance over a wide range of atmospheric conditions. Not only does this airplane perform well at higher altitudes, but also in extreme conditions. You'll commonly see this testbed aircraft flying around the Canadian Arctic, as well as the warm deserts of Arizona, and as a matter of fact, that's exactly where this airplane flew in from upon arrival here at Oshkosh, directly out of Pinole Air Park in southern Arizona. only 45 747 SPs were ever built, and as stated earlier in the video, only 2 of those 45 are still flying today, both of them serving Pratt & Whitney Canada as engine test beds. It is truly remarkable to see that this airplane that once served as a commercial airliner in the 80s and 90s now gets to live a second life as a laboratory in the skies, instead of being scrapped at an aircraft boneyard. The 747 SP was originally built per request by legacy carrier Pan Am, which needed an aircraft suitable to fly non-stop on its New York to Tehran route. And as hinted at previously, this was a route that didn't have enough demand to sell out a full-size 747. However, the shortened SP fitted the airline's demands perfectly. The SP also served as a competitor to the other medium-sized wide-body aircraft of the day, such as the L-1011 and the DC-10. When Boeing introduced this airplane, it wasn't just the fuselage that was shortened. Of course, other parts of the airplane had to be modified as well to maximize performance. The flaps were reduced from a 3-slot design to a single-slot design, and interestingly, the horizontal and vertical stabilizers both increased in size, despite the shrinking of the fuselage length by nearly 50 feet. Unfortunately, the high operating costs of a gas-guzzling quad-jet that can only carry a limited number of passengers eventually led to the aircraft being uneconomical in the long run. Hence why so few airframes were actually built. It is truly an honor though to see one of the last 747 SPs still flying today, let alone having the privilege to tour the interior. As the SP prepares for its departure back to Montreal, it's time to say our final goodbyes to this incredibly historic airplane. Hopefully this 747 SP remains in service for many years to come. But for now, let's sit back and enjoy its roaring departure out of Oshkosh. Don't forget to comment your thoughts down below on this mini 747. But with all that said, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Perfectly. And a wingway.
We salute you and we thank you.